Hello, I'm Mikey and this is my first YouTube channel. This is for the smaller kids and the other people who would like to hear a story. I'd just like to introduce this book, David Williams' Awful Auntie, if you can see that. This Saxby Hall, where our story takes place. Here is the intro of the Saxby Hall. This is a map of the house and grounds. So you can see over here we've got a greenhouse. Over here we've got a garage. Over here we've got a lake, a driveway, the Saxby Hall, which is down here. We got the Premier Wall. We got the gate. Oh, bless me. Chapter 1 is prologue. Do you have an awful auntie? One that never allows you to stay up and watch your favourite television programme, or your aunt who makes you eat up every last spoonful of her revolting crumble, even though she knows that you hate her rhubarb crumble. Maybe your aunt gives her poodle a big, slobbery, wet kiss. Oh, big, slobbery, wet kiss too. Or does your aunt scoff the most delicious chocolates from the box, leaving you with just the dreaded black cherry liquid? Perhaps your aunt demands you to wear that horrendously itchy jumper that was knitted for you at Christmas, which reads, "I love my auntie," in huge purple letters on the front. However, awful your auntie you might be, she will never be the same league as awfulness as Aunt Alberta. Would you like to meet her? Yeah. Yes. Although that you won here, she's awfulness. Sharp black eyes, a nonsense, a great brethren, the mountain owl. Are you sitting uncomfortably when I begin? Meet the other characters in this story. So there's the young lady Yesella Saxby. This suit, he's a chimpy sweep. Wagner is a great brave mountain owl. Gibbon is the ancient butler of Saxby Hall. And then, last but not least, Detective Stresses. He is the policeman. Oh no, sorry, now it's chapter 1. frozen. It was a blur. At first, there was only colours, then lines, and slowly through the haze of Stella's glaze in the room. Eventually, it took shape. The little girl realised she was lying on her own bed. Her bedroom was just of countless. A vase in the country house. To the right side of her wardrobe, on her left, say a tiny dressing table framed by a tall window. And Stella knew her bedroom as well as she knew her. Own faced Saxby Hall had been her home, but somehow, at this moment, everything seemed strange. Outside there was not a sound. The house had never been this quiet before. All was silent. From her bed, Stella turned and looked out of the window. All was white. Thick snow had fallen. It had covered everything within sight. The long, sloping lawn, the huge, deep lake, and the empty fields beyond the estate. Icicles hung from the branches of the trees, and everything was frozen. The sun was nowhere to be seen. The sky was pale blue, and it seemed to be a quiet night, yet not a quiet day. It was early morning or late evening. The little girl had no idea. Stella felt as she had been sleeping forever. Was it days, months, years? Her mouth was dry as a desert. Her body felt as heavy as a stone, as still as a statue. For a moment, the little girl thought she might still be asleep and dreaming. Dreaming she was awake in her bedroom. Stella had experienced that dream before, and it was frightening because try as she might, she couldn't move. This was the same nightmare again, or nothing more sinister. To test whenever she was asleep and dreaming, the girl thought she would try and move, starting at the far end of her body. First she tried to waggle her little toe. If she was awake and she thought about waggling her toe, it would just waggle. But try how she might, it wouldn't waggle or wiggle or even woggle. By one she tried to move each toe on her left foot and then each toe on her right. But one by one they all pointed blank and refused to do anything. Feeling increasing panic, she tried to circle her ankles before attempting to stretch her legs and bend her knees, and finally she concentrated as hard as she could, lifting her arms. All were possible, and she was buried from the sand from the neck down. Beyond her bedroom door, Stella heard a sound. The house dated black centuries. It had been passed through many generations of the Saxby family. It was so old that everything creaked, and so was every noise echoed down the endless labyrinth of the corridors. Sometimes the young Stella believed that the house was haunted, and that a ghost walked to Saxby Hall in the dead of night. When she went to bed, the little girl was convinced that she heard someone or something moving about behind the wall. Sometimes she would even hear a voice calling to her, terrified, and she would dash into her mother and father's room and climb into the bed with them. Her mother and father would hold Stella tight and tell her she was not to worry her pretty little head. Those still strange noises were just the clatter of the pipes and the creaking of the floorboards. Stella was not sure. Her eyes darted over the huge oak panel. Have I missed a page? No. Her eyes darted over the huge oak panelled door of her bedroom. At the waist height there was a keyhole, through she never locked, and the door didn't even know where the key was. Mostly, likely, it had been lost hundreds of years ago by some great-great-great-grandparent, one of those Saxby lords or ladies. So paintings hung every few places along the corridors, captured forever, unsmiling in oils. The keyhole flickered the time, and the dark little girl thought she saw the white of an eyeball staring at her through the keyhole, before quickly disappearing out of view. "Mama, is that you?" she cried out, hearing her own voice out loud. Stella knew this was no dream. On the other side of the door, eerie silence lingered. "Is it?" she pleaded. "Please." The floorboards creaked. Outside, someone or something had been spying at her through the keyhole. The handle turned and slowly the door was pushed open. The bedroom was dark, but the hallway was light, so at first the girl could see it all was the still house sweat. It was the outline of someone as wide as they were tall. Even though they were extremely wide, they weren't even particularly tall. The figure was wearing tail-ordered jacket and the plus. So for those long blowy shorts and golfers sometimes wear. A deerstalker hat adorned the figure's head with ear flaps unflattering down. Jutting out of her mouth was a thick pipe. Soon plums of sticky wheat and tobacco smoke clouded into the room. On one hand there was a thick leather glove, and perched on there was an unmistakable outline of an owl. Stella knew instantly who this person was. It was her awful aunt. "Albert, well, you have finally woken up, child," said Aunt Albert. The woman's voice was rich and deep, like a boozy cake. She stepped out of the doorway and into her niece's room. Her large brown steel-toed capped boots were clumpering over the floor. Now the half-light Stella could make a heavy tweed in her suit, and the long sharp talons of the owl were wrapped around the fingers of the glove. It was a great ravening owl, the largest species of owl there was. In the villages of bravery, these owls were known by socials as flying bears, on account of their startling size. The owl was named Wang. It was an unusual name for an unusual pet, but then the Aunt Albert, highly unusual person. "How long have I been asleep, please?" Aunt Stella. Aunt Albert took a long suck on her pipe and smiled. "Oh, just a few months, child." How long has it been? Oh, I think we're gonna have to stop there. It's been 15.5 minutes, so maybe we'll see you guys later. Chapter 2, Baby Vanishes. See you in the next video. Bye! Subscribe and like the channel.